You know how some history books talk about wars and empires, like they're the biggest deals? Well, get ready to have your mind blown because today's deep dive is all about a killer that dwarfs them all. Smallpox.
It might be microscopic, but its impact, definitely not.
We're diving into excerpts from an article called The Greatest Killer in History and How Humans Beat It.
Yeah, the title kind of says it all, doesn't it?
For most of human history, smallpox was the unavoidable threat.
Like, if a bad harvest or a war didn't get you, smallpox might.
It killed millions upon millions, more than all the wars and plagues you can think of combined.
Yeah, and that's not even an exaggeration. We're talking serious numbers here.
But here's the twist. We actually managed to eradicate it. Wiped it off the face of the earth. How did that happen?
That's what we're going to find out.
Smallpox killed an estimated 300 million people in the 20th century alone.
And just let that sink in for a second. 300 million.
That's more than World Wars I and II, the Black Death, and all recorded genocides combined. It's a truly staggering number.
It puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
And that's just a fraction of its total reign of terror. This disease was around for at least 3,000 years.
At least 3,000.
So the true death toll likely reaches into the billions, making it the single deadliest killer in human history.
It's chilling when you really think about it. Billions of lives lost to this tiny virus.
But smallpox didn't just claim individual lives, it reshaped entire civilizations.
Oh, absolutely. It acted almost like a silent conqueror, you know?
Like, take the fall of the Aztec and Inca empires. Smallpox arrived in the Americas before the Spanish conquistadors.
It was already there.
Weakening the empires and paving the way for their conquest.
It's like this invisible force shaping the course of history.
And even closer to home, smallpox played a role in the American Revolution.
Right.
The Continental Army was ravaged by the disease, forcing George Washington, a smallpox survivor himself,
He knew how bad it could be.
to order mass inoculations.
It was that serious. I mean, for centuries, humanity was essentially defenseless against this invisible enemy. But then, a glimmer of hope emerged: vaccination.
Ah, the cowpox connection. This is fascinating. Can you walk us through how Jenner translated that observation into a working vaccine?
Okay, so Edward Jenner, back in 1796, noticed something interesting. Milkmaids who contracted cowpox.
Cowpox?
It's a milder disease related to smallpox. And these milkmaids, they seem to be immune to smallpox itself.
Interesting.
So this observation, it sparked an idea. Could he intentionally expose someone to cowpox to protect them from smallpox?
That's incredibly bold for the time. So what happened next?
Well, Jenner took material from a cowpox sore and introduced it into the arm of a young boy.
Oh, wow.
Weeks later, he exposed the boy to smallpox, and get this, the boy didn't get sick.
So it worked.
It was a revolutionary moment, the world's first vaccine, the birth of modern immunology.
A vaccine was a game changer, but the fight was far from over. Smallpox was a stubborn adversary.
Oh yeah, it took a lot more to finally get rid of it.
So what finally turned the tide? How did we go from vaccinating individuals to completely wiping smallpox off the face of the earth?
Well, it started with a declaration of war. In 1959, the World Health Organization launched a global campaign to eradicate smallpox.
Sounds ambitious.
It was. And, early efforts faced challenges, funding shortages, difficulties reaching remote populations. It wasn't easy.
It sounds like an enormous undertaking. What was the turning point in this fight?
They made a big change in strategy in 1967. They adopted a new approach called ring vaccination.
Ring vaccine.
Instead of aiming to vaccinate everyone globally, they targeted outbreaks directly.
Smart.
So they'd identify a case of smallpox and immediately vaccinate everyone in contact with that person. They created a ring of immunity around the outbreak.
That's brilliant, but it sounds incredibly difficult to implement, especially in those remote areas we were talking about.
It was. Tracking down every single contact required serious detective work.
Wow.
And a deep understanding of local communities. But the results? Remarkable. Country by country, smallpox was declared eradicated.
It's amazing. What an incredible feat. It must have been so intense as they got closer and closer to eliminating the virus.
Oh, absolutely. There were some close calls along the way, for sure. But the dedication of the healthcare workers and the effectiveness of that ring vaccination strategy, they ultimately prevailed.
And then, the moment everyone was waiting for, the last known cases.
In 1975, a young girl named Rahima Banu in Bangladesh became the last known case of variola major, the most severe form of smallpox. Thankfully, she survived.
That's good to hear.
And just 2 years later, in 1977, a man named Ali Mao Milan, He was a cook in Somalia. He contracted smallpox and also survived. He's the last person to catch smallpox naturally.
It's almost hard to imagine, after centuries of fear and suffering, those being the last cases.
Like a powerful moment in history for sure.
And then the official declaration, the culmination of centuries of struggle.
On May 8, 1980, the World Health Organization officially declared smallpox eradicated.
Wow.
It marked a monumental achievement, the first time in history that humanity had completely defeated a disease.
This victory wasn't just about eliminating a virus. It was about pushing the boundaries of what's possible when humans unite against a common enemy.
It makes you wonder, what else can we achieve when we work together like that?
It definitely gives you hope. But now that we've conquered this ancient foe, where do we go from here? What are the lasting impacts of this victory? And what lessons can we apply to future challenges?
It really does. It gives you a sense of hope, right? Knowing that we can achieve such incredible things when we work together.
It does. It really does. But now that we've conquered this, ancient foe, where do we go from here? What are the lasting impacts of this victory? And what lessons can we apply to future challenges?
That's the question, isn't it? The eradication of smallpox, it's left this indelible mark on our world, not just in terms of public health, but also in how we approach, scientific challenges and global collaboration.
So it's not just about the absence of the disease itself, but the ripple effects of that achievement. What are some of those lasting impacts?
Well, for one, it's given us this blueprint, this kind of guide for tackling other infectious diseases. The success of the smallpox campaign has inspired efforts to eradicate polio and measles.
Makes sense.
And it's informed our approach to controlling diseases like HIV/AIDS and malaria.
So we're using that knowledge gained from eradicating smallpox to fight on new fronts. It's like inheriting this powerful weapon and learning how to wield it against different enemies.
I like that. That's a great analogy. The eradication of smallpox also fundamentally changed our understanding of viruses and disease transmission.
Yeah.
The ring vaccination strategy, for example. It demonstrated the effectiveness of targeted interventions.
Right.
And the importance of breaking the chain of transmission. These are concepts that are now central to, all of our public health strategies.
It's fascinating how this one campaign revolutionized our entire approach to disease control and prevention. But what about the virus itself? Is smallpox truly gone, or is there a chance it could somehow, reemerge?
That's the question, right? That's what keeps a lot of scientists and public health experts up at night.
I bet.
Technically, the smallpox virus still exists in 2 high-security labs, one in the U.S. and one in Russia.
Wait, so there are still samples of this deadly virus out there. Why are they being kept?
Well, they're kept for research, primarily.
Clue.
To develop better, diagnostics and treatments, just in case it does reemerge.
Okay.
But, of course, this also raises concerns about the possibility of, accidental or intentional release.
That's a chilling thought. It's a stark reminder that even after achieving something as monumental as eradication, we can't afford to become complacent.
Exactly. Vigilance is key. Maintaining a stockpile of the smallpox vaccine.
Right.
And having robust surveillance and response systems in place are essential to, mitigating that risk.
So while smallpox may be gone from the wild, it still casts a shadow. It makes me wonder, what are the chances of eradicating other diseases, given all these complexities we're discussing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Measles and polio, like smallpox, they only infect humans.
Okay.
So that makes them potential candidates for eradication. However, there are some serious obstacles standing in our way.
What are some of the biggest hurdles we'd need to overcome?
One of the most significant challenges is, unfortunately, vaccine hesitancy.
Yeah.
Misinformation and distrust of vaccines have made it really difficult to achieve those high vaccination rates needed for eradication.
It's disheartening to see how misinformation can undermine decades of scientific progress. Are there other obstacles beyond vaccine hesitancy?
Oh, definitely. The logistical challenges are huge. Global vaccination campaigns, they require incredible coordination, resources, the ability to reach every corner of the globe, including those remote and conflict-ridden areas that we talked about.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare, especially considering the diverse, cultural and political landscapes that we have to navigate. But amidst all these challenges, the eradication of smallpox offers this beacon of hope.
It does. It reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, we can achieve extraordinary things when we pool our resources, our expertise, and our determination.
It's a powerful testament to human ingenuity and collaboration. But now I want to kind of shift gears a bit. The eradication of smallpox wasn't just a scientific victory, it was a cultural and philosophical shift. This disease that shaped civilizations and instilled fear for millennia is suddenly gone. What do you think that absence means for us as a species?
Wow, that's a fascinating question, and one that I don't think has a simple answer. On the one hand, it's tempting to say that we've moved beyond the shadow of smallpox, right? We no longer live with this constant threat of this disease, and future generations may only know it as a historical footnote.
It's almost like we've collectively exhaled, releasing a breath we didn't even know we were holding. But is it really that simple?
Maybe not. The memory of smallpox and the struggle to eradicate it, it will likely continue to shape us in, subtle ways. It serves as this reminder of our vulnerability to these invisible threats, but also our capacity to overcome them through science and collective action.
It's like this ghost in our collective memory, a reminder of a battle fought and won, but with lessons that continue to resonate. But does this absence also create a void? Smallpox played a role in shaping human history for centuries. Now that it's gone, does it feel like something's missing?
That's an interesting thought. It's possible that the absence of smallpox has left a kind of, psychological or cultural vacuum. This disease, once so deeply intertwined with our history and our understanding of mortality, is suddenly gone. It may take time for us to fully grasp the implications of that absence.
It's like we've lost a piece of our collective narrative, a chapter in the story of humanity. But perhaps in its place, we're writing a new chapter one defined by resilience, scientific progress, and the possibility of a future free from the scourge of smallpox.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And while the eradication of smallpox was this momentous achievement, it's important to remember that the fight against infectious diseases is far from over.
Absolutely. New threats are constantly emerging and, old ones may resurface. What are the next frontiers in our battle against these microscopic foes? It really does feel like we've been on this, incredible journey, tracing the arc of smallpox from its reign of terror to its ultimate demise.
It really is a story that just, speaks volumes about human fragility, but also our remarkable ability to overcome even the most formidable challenges.
It's true. And in the case of smallpox, we didn't just fight back, we completely eradicated it.
Completely.
It's an achievement that deserves to be celebrated, studied, for its invaluable lessons. If you had to distill the key takeaways from the smallpox eradication campaign, what would they be?
That's a good question. Well, I think first and foremost, it really highlighted how important prevention is. Vaccines are, without a doubt, one of the most powerful weapons we have in our arsenal against infectious diseases. The smallpox vaccine, it didn't just save countless lives.
Right.
It ultimately paved the way for complete eradication.
And it wasn't just about developing the vaccine itself, but making sure people could actually get it and, fighting that misinformation that can undermine vaccination efforts.
That's right.
We're seeing those same challenges today, with other diseases, which makes the lessons from the smallpox campaign all the more relevant.
Oh, absolutely. And another takeaway, a really crucial one, is the power of global cooperation. Infectious diseases, they don't respect borders, so our response can't either.
Makes sense.
The smallpox eradication campaign, it was a testament to what's possible when nations, unite with a shared purpose, a commitment to collective action.
It really makes you realize that in the face of these global threats, we're all interconnected. A disease outbreak in one part of the world, it can quickly become everyone's problem. The smallpox victory showed that by, pooling our resources, our expertise, that unwavering determination, we can achieve truly remarkable things.
And it wasn't just nations coming together. It was individuals, scientists, healthcare workers, volunteers.
Yeah.
All working tirelessly towards a common goal.
Yeah.
Their dedication, their sacrifice, it's an inspiration.
For sure.
For anyone tackling these huge challenges, whether in public health or any other field.
It's a testament to the power of the human spirit and just, collaboration. But as we've been talking about, the eradication of smallpox doesn't mean that the fight is over. New infectious diseases will inevitably emerge, and old ones may, come back. What are the next frontiers in this battle against these microscopic foes?
Well, we're at this really fascinating point in the fight against infectious diseases. On the one hand, we have these incredible advancements in science and technology. We've got new tools like mRNA vaccines that could really revolutionize how we prevent and treat diseases.
It feels like we're on the cusp of a new era in disease prevention, you know?
Right.
But amidst all these exciting advancements, we also face some daunting challenges.
Right. Antibiotic resistance is this growing threat. It's making it harder to treat bacterial infections. Climate change is altering disease patterns, expanding the reach of some infectious diseases and creating new opportunities for others to emerge.
Yeah.
And of course, the possibility of future pandemics, it looms large.
It's a reminder that even in the wake of triumphs like the eradication of smallpox, we can never let our guard down. We have to remain vigilant, adaptable, and committed to, pushing the boundaries of scientific innovation.
I agree.
But it's not just about science, is it?
No, you're absolutely right. Addressing social determinants of health, that's crucial. Things like poverty, inequality, lack of access to health care, these factors make populations more vulnerable to infectious diseases.
Of course.
So alongside scientific advancements, we need to prioritize social justice and equity. They need to be integral parts of our public health strategies.
It's this multifaceted challenge that requires this holistic approach. But as we wrap up our deep dive into the story of smallpox, I'm left with a sense of both caution and optimism.
I think that's a good way to feel. We've learned so much from our triumphs and our setbacks, and while the microbial world will, continue to challenge us, I do believe that we have the tools, knowledge, and the collective will to face the uncertainties ahead.
So to our listener, we leave you with this final thought. The eradication of smallpox, it stands as this beacon of hope, a testament to human resilience, and a powerful reminder that even the most formidable foes can be vanquished. As we face the ongoing challenges of infectious diseases, let's draw inspiration from this victory, knowing that through scientific progress, global collaboration, and an unwavering commitment to public health, we can create a healthier and more resilient future for all.